All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Rituals, 1978. This is going to be another Canucksploitation flick produced by Harry H. Novak. Always get Harry H. Novak mixed up with David F. Friedman. That's why I mentioned Renee Bond in The Erotic Adventures of Zorro, because I had the two mixed up. If you go down in the woods today, you're in for a big surprise. That's the movie poster. It's a blatant ripoff on Deliverance. And I hated this flick. I'm giving it 1 out of 5 stars. The scene where Hal Holbrook is playing Dr. Kevorkian at the dam has to be one of the most sickening, disgusting things ever caught on film. Rich, so this got euthanasia and chopped heads. Some crazy stuff going on here. I don't know. I'm not. I didn't like Deliverance. The only good part in Deliverance was the dueling banjos, but this one doesn't even have that, so that's why it gets a 1 out of 5. Rituals is a 1977 Canadian horror thriller film directed by Peter Carter and starring Hal Holbrook, Lawrence Dane, and Robin Gamble. It centers on a group of doctors who are stalked and murdered while on a wilderness trip in remote northern Ontario, Canada. The film was released under the alternate title, The Creeper. Production companies Astral Bellevue Path, Canadian Film Development Corporation, Canard Films, and Famous Players. Sounds like this movie was using Canadian tax dollars. Distributed by Astral Films Canada and Aquarius Releasings in the US. Release dates August 26, 1977 in Montreal, and September 16th, 1978 in Hartford, Connecticut. Running time 100 minutes. It felt like 5 hours. Country Canada, language English. Budget of 600,000 Canadian dollars. I gotta change the year on this to 1977. I don't know why I have 1978. Okay, that's fixed. I think. Maybe not. Harry H. Novak. All right. 5 surgeons, all of them super annoying. One's a faggot. All former medical school cohorts go on a wilderness weekend retreat deep in the wilderness of northern Ontario. Northern Ohio. Among them are a stalwart neurologist Harry, Mitzi, a general surgeon Martin, who has left his surgical career behind and now works as a general practitioner. He's the gay guy. Then you've got Martin's brother DJ and Abel. After being dropped off by a plane, the men hike into the woods. They build a campfire on a lake. As the night goes on, they begin to drink and bicker among themselves about whose field is more intellectually demanding. It's about as boring as watching family lawyers having a cocktail party. The following morning, each finds that his boots have been stolen. So now they got to wrap their feet in some kind of a tent material or something. DJ, already tired of the animosity among the group, I was getting tired of it too. He volunteers to hike to a hydro dam that, according to his map, is several miles away, presuming there will be people operating it who can help them. Well, poor DJ, because by the time they caught up with him, Hal Holbrook decided to choke him to death. He was playing Dr. Kevorkian. Of course, euthanasia is against Catholic doctrine, but I don't believe the Hal Holbrook character is Catholic, even though he's wearing a crucifix. After DJ leaves that night, Mitzi finds a severed deer head hanging in front of their campsite, along with a snake curled around its spinal cord, resembling the caducus, which is the staff carried by Hermes. It's a medical symbol, I guess. Everyone but Martin believe that DJ is responsible. In the morning, the group embarked to find DJ, but they inadvertently set off a booby trap, unleashing a beehive. Harry, Mitzi, and Martin flee, tumbling down a steep hill to a lake below to escape the bees, with Abel trailing behind them. From the water, Martin briefly glimpses a shadowy figure throwing Abel over the steep incline, causing him to break his neck, killing him. Harry and Mitzi again suspect DJ for having caused the incident. The three remaining men push onward, stopping along a river at dusk, exhausted. As Mitzi explores upstream, Harry and Martin have a brief conversation in which Martin confesses to Harry that he never wishes to pursue surgery again. He also reveals details about his alcoholism, as well as his failed relationship with a male lover. Oh, isn't that nice? We've got a gay man and a Korean War veteran. Harry responds with an anecdote about how he stopped drinking while serving in the Korean War. Didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't figure out what happened. But okay, Wikipedia didn't explain it either. The conversation is interrupted when Mitzi locates a rope hanging over the river, which she suspects was left by DJ. Bad decision. The group planned to cross the river the following morning, camping overnight. In the morning, while using the rope to cross the river, Martin steps on a bear trap in the water, breaking his leg. Mitzi suspects that perhaps they are being stalked and tormented by someone pursuing vengeance over botched surgery, medical malpractice. So at least we know that medicine is not science. It is not a is not an exact science, I should say. People make mistakes all the time. I won't go into details because I'll get my video removed. Okay. The men attempt to press on by traveling along the river, floating the gay Martin on a stretcher. They should have just left him there. Tensions rise when the men attempt to scale a waterfall and Harry and Mitzi get into a fight. Mitzi subsequently tries to apologize to Harry after the men camped on shore. It was some they're fighting over I guess Mitzi is giving Harry a hard time about his dad, and Harry doesn't like that. So they keep fighting. Mitzi subsequently tries. Oh, Harry and Mitzi get into a fight. So they're fighting in the river, wasting energy, and somebody's stalking them. Mitzi subsequently tries to apologize to Harry after the men camp on shore. Mitzi reminisces about their mutual friend Andy, who died by suicide when they were in medical school. These people are just a bunch of degenerates, and they're pretending to be doctors and revered members of society out here in the forest with the serial killer on the loose. The next day, Harry and Mitzi notice smoke emanating from a distant mountainside. Shortly after, they find someone has placed a World War II medal around Martin's neck, leading Harry to believe their stalker is a veteran. After carrying Martin up the mountain, the men stop to sleep overnight on one of the peaks. At dawn, Mitzi awakens, and Mitzi finds Abel's severed head on a stake in front of him. Mitzi refuses to help Harry carry Martin, insisting their attempt to save him is futile. He finally realized that. Harry continues dragging Martin on the stretcher behind him, but eventually collapses from exhaustion. I think at this point, Martin is going crazy. Mitzi reappears, and Mitzi continues to help carry their friend. Bad decision. They eventually reach the dam that DJ was traveling to, only to find it abandoned and derelict. Overlooking it, they find DJ barely alive, tortured and nailed to a chair. Tied to his body, Harry finds an overexposed x ray and hospital discharge paperwork for a man named Matthew Crowley. After some contemplation, Harry performs a mercy killing on DJ. Mercy killing or euthanasia? I guess you can do that to an animal, but not a human being. He's, Hal Holbrook strangles him to death. This is amazing. What the heck is going on here? And there's nobody in the chat room. All right. Well, a dispirited Mitzi departs from the dam. I'd be dispirited too. Harry realizes that Martin is dead, and Harry quietly mourns him before leaving the dam as well. He doesn't give him last rites or anything. He just dumps his crucifix on a gay man. I guess you can't give last rites if you're not a priest, but at least you can do something. Alone, Harry locates an abandoned cabin where he uncovers several World War II mementos, along with the group's stolen boots. An elderly hermit named Jesse arrives, and Jesse attempts to attack Harry, but Harry soon realizes the man is blind. Jesse warns Harry to leave. I think the blind man was trying to get his brother to stop killing people, but he didn't realize that he was talking to Harry the whole time. Jesse warns Harry to leave, commenting that his brother Matthew, a disfigured, brain damaged war veteran, is dangerous. Moments later, Matthew arrives. Matthew begins stabbing through the wall, severing an artery in Harry's leg. Outside, Mitzi begins crying for help as Matthew prepares to burn him alive. As an effigy, Harry begins to lose consciousness due to blood loss. Harry is forced to cauterize his own wound, but he's unable to save Mitzi from the blaze. As Matthew slowly enters the cabin, Harry glimpses his disfigured face before shooting him to death. And that's the movie. Rituals was filmed in Northern Ontario, Canada in mid-1976 on a budget of 600,000 Canadian dollars. According to actor Hal Holbrook, the shoot was very physically demanding. He noted that the sequence in which he and Lawrence Dane's character attempt to pull Robin Gamble upstream on a river took 5 days to film. Must be a world record for this film. All right. The film opened in Montreal on August 26, 1977. It subsequently was released in the United States in late 1978, screening in Hartford, Connecticut, beginning September 16, 1978. The Terror Trap awarded the film 3.5 out of 4 stars, praising the film's atmosphere, editing, and Holbrook's performance, calling it an above-average journey into hell gem. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Justin Kurzweil of the Slasher Film website, The Hysteria Lives, gives the film 4 out of 5 stars, writing, "Not since Deliverance has the wildness held such terror." John Townsend from HorrorNews.net praised the film, writing, "Watching Rituals, having spent so many of these subsequent films, drives home the fact that it's possible to make a taut, tense horror thriller without the need for huge swathes of special effects and gallons of fake blood. There's more character, story, and enjoyment to be had in this film, and in much of the current franchise put together." TV Guide, however, awarded the film an unfavorable 1 out of 5 stars, calling it a cheap north of the border ripoff of Deliverance. My thoughts exactly. Author and film critic Leonard Maltin gave the film 1.5 out of 4 stars, calling it unpleasant. Yeah, it sure was. I did not enjoy this. Rituals gained additional minor recognition after U.S. author of horror Stephen King had recommended it in his 1981 nonfiction book about the horror genre, Danse Macabre. King included Rituals in an appendix which listed roughly 100 fantasy horror films tied together by their time and their excellence, and he marked the film as one of his personal favorites, although he did not know the name of the director. Rituals was released on VHS by Embassy Home Entertainment in 1985. It was released for the first time on DVD by Mill Creek Entertainment on February 7, 2006, as part of its Drive-In Movie Classics 50 movie pack. Mill Creek re-released the film on April 10, 2007 in its Horror Classics 100 movie pack. It was released by Code Red on DVD on April 19, 2011. On January 24, 2012, it was released by Film Chest under the alternate title The Creeper. It was subsequently released by VFN on July 9, 2015. In January 2019, Scorpion released the film on Blu-ray in a limited edition, exclusively available for sale on the Ronin Fox Flicks website. Scorpion releasing in association with Kino Lorber reissued the Blu-ray with an alternate cover art on January 21st, 2021. Rituals 1977, rated R, 1 hour 40 minutes. Gets a pretty decent 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, 3,500 ratings. Fighters on a wilderness outing are stalked by disfigured, crazed killers. Thought there was only one killer. Here's a more flattering review on IMDb from Lost in Limbo. Lost in Limbo gives it an 8 out of 10. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. Lost in Limbo's review, dated September 24th, 2008, is titled A Costly Trip to the Woods. DB. After reading no less than positive thoughts, mainly by horror fans, in the back of my mind, I was thinking that maybe I was getting myself up for a huge letdown after finally managing to get my hands on a copy uncut too. Gladly to say it lived up to its reputation, and I was thoroughly enthralled by the slow grinding, suspense drilling, minimal 70s survival horror setup against the remote, vast Canadian deep mountainous backwoods. 5 doctors meet up every year, and this reunion, they decide to go on a trek in a remote mountain terrain known by the local natives as the Cauldron of the Moon. However, they soon realize they're not alone and they find they're being stalked and slowly picked off by someone who seems to hold a grudge of some sort. We never know what that grudge is. What I found that separated this from most backwoods survivalist horror, and it shares common ground with this blatant influencer Deliverance, is that the characters are given more emotional weight as background mistakes and methodical differences arose from the unbearable stress. I thought it was annoying. They keep cursing at each other and screaming the whole time. I thought I was starting to get a headache. And in doing so, it makes their conflicts and petty bickering intensely raw and effective in the way they stretch their friendships. This is based more so on the inflicting psychological drama than, say, just the nasty action. Gore and violence is kept low key, but there is still a dangerous air of sinisterness within. It's a fight for survival. Reverting back to primal instincts is an option at first, but eventually it succumbs to. Also lingering in the well-written script is the focus of being frightened by the unknown and paralyzed by abandonment. Our deranged tormentor stays pretty much a shadow. Or give a brief story or explanation to why he's humiliating and torturing the doctors. Is it personal? Does someone know more than they're let on? Or is it just in the wrong place at the wrong time? To only appear as an eerily ominous figure in the picturesque backdrop that sets off some nerves until the final closing frames, we come face to face with the freak of nature. The material formed by Ian Sutherland is cerebral and emotionally guided, if a little gray. Director Peter Carter efficiently constructs a productive, tight pace and bleak atmospherics from the alienating locations. Distinctively skin-crawling imagery can leave a haunting mark. Sure, the low budget showed up some niggles. Is that supposed to be giggles? Jumpy editing, and dark passages. Who lit this movie? There's one. There's one point when the gay man and Hal Holbrook are talking about their jaded past, and it's pitch black, and you can't even see their faces when they're talking. Sure, the low budget showed up, but was neatly worked around it. The tension is gained more so from the authentic character interactions and attitudes that they battle to stay one step ahead, as it's just no the killer to worry about either, but the tearing harshness of Mother Nature, being eaten alive by bugs, rapid moving rivers, unstable terrain, and a beaming sun, and not to forget one another. The performances are tremendously towering and strongly delivered by a dependably competent cast. An anchor like Hal Holbrook is demandingly sharp, and Lawrence Dane is suitably good. Had Good Hardy's majestically shuddery music score had that organic sense surrounding it and fitting it perfectly. Rene Verzio's camera work is top rate as he sharply lenses the colorful backdrop, but also the impending intensity in the characters' actions. An excellently uneasy and captivating low budget survival trek that keeps it all quite basic, but manages to also bring out the bitter blows when it counts. Okay, this is just not my genre. I did not like Deliverance, and this is even worse. More like this Blue Sunshine. Are you kidding me? That's a great flick. Dark Night of the Scarecrow. The original script left the killer's identity unknown. Stretcher over rocky terrain. You can clearly see he is wearing boots. They had their boots stolen and had to wrap their feet in plastic tarp. This is an erroneous assumption Harry finds, including his own, in Matthew's hut near the end of Harry. The world lost a great clown when he gave up neurology. Hal Holbrook sits on the road as the sun rises with his back to the camera, which moves away from him as the end credits roll. The version of the film on Mill Creek's Drive-In Movie Classics 50 movie pack DVD entitled The Creeper is the edited 89-minute version. Featured in sneak previews Quest for Fire, Union City, The Amateur, and Evil Under the Sun, 1982. Release date August 1978 in the US, country of origin Canada. Official site is Code Red DVD in the US. Language English, also known as The Creeper. Filming locations Batchewana Bay, Ontario, Canada. Production companies Astral, Bellevue Path, Canard Films, and Canadian Film Development Corporation, CFDC, which I believe is other people's money. Budget Canadian dollars 660,000. Runtime 1 hour 40 minutes, too long, 100 minutes. It's in color. The sound mix is mono, and the aspect ratio is 1.85 to 1. Now, I don't know if I can get to Waterfront because this movie was so long and I kept pausing it. I'm trying to get my taxes done on Monday. That's going to hold me up because I got to go to San Mateo at night. What time is my San Mateo appointment Monday night? 6 p.m. I think I'm going to be running a little bit late. All right. So we've got Waterfront 1944. That's number one on my list. Number two is the VIPs 1963. And number three is TV Story 2018. So there you have it. That's my review of Rituals. I say skip it, don't check it out. It's not a good genre, this survival in the woods stuff. I didn't like Deliverance, and I especially hated the Deliverance ripoff Rituals. There's nothing redeeming about any of these characters in this film. I think I was actually rooting for the disfigured World War II veteran dude, the serial killer, because these guys are super annoying. Oh, there's a remake of Rituals? Okay, I'll see if I can check it out. Adrian finally made it to the chat room on a Saturday afternoon. I don't know what time it is in Australia. It's probably Sunday morning. I'll look at Rituals remake. I didn't see any mention on Wikipedia about that, but I did note that there is a franchise mention on IMDb. So I'll look that up, see if I can find it. Thanks, Adrian. Laters.